If you touch me again, I'll show you now.
You're not going to get out here.
Baba, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch you.
Yeah, I'm not going out. No. I'm paying tax in this country for
Which country?
this country for 21 years. My business registration is 20.
I don't care. I will
to
all I'm paying tax.
Yeah, so why are you telling me not to be here? Why? Why are you telling me? Yeah? I'm a South African. I got my ID with me. I can't walk out. I can't walk out. Do your work. Yeah. I can't. Hello? Yeah, hello. South Africa got 100 and something companies in Nigeria. 100. They are using our hospital. You don't talk rubbish. They are using it for what I pay.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry. What kind of stupid, wicked people are here? Killing people in the hospital. It's very bad. This your attitude is bad. You are killing people. No country in this world can do that kind of rubbish you are doing. It's wickedness. Maybe you are from Mozambique or Zimbabwe. You don't get claim South Africa. You are forefathers from Mozambique or Zimbabwe. You come here and claim South Africa. Killing people. You think you are fighting for right? That is not your right. You're just stupid. It's not your right.
Can you please come down?
Touch me now. I'll finish you here now.
Can you please come down?
I'm serious. Touch me. Touch me. Three of you.
Can you listen?
No, what they are doing is bad. What they is bad. It's bad. You are taking people that is pregnant from hospital. Where have they done such a thing in this world? Nowhere. Only South Africa. We helped you when you were in apartheid. We helped to bring it out. We saved you. I'm not lying. If you don't go to school, go and read about it. Nobody can read about it. You don't mess up. No.
Turn that off.
No.
Turn that off.
No. It's bad. What is happening here is bad. If nobody will talk, they have to talk. Call police and arrest me. If I did something wrong, bring police and arrest me.
Listen.
Yeah.
Can you please respect that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to come.
Okay, no, I want to say what is happening behind the
I like the way this Nigerian stood up against this South African that is promoting xenophobia in South African hospital. They hide under Operation Dudula, promoting xenophobia and discrimination against other nationalities. When I have conversations with South Africans, they will always say, oh, it's the illegal immigrants. Oh, it's that. You can see that Nigerian? He has lived in South Africa for more than 22 years, paying taxes. I'm sure that's the fate of many other nationalities that are being chased out of the hospital today. South African government, African Union needs to speak up. South Africans are taking laws into their hands. They have no powers. The Constitution of South Africa does not give powers to human beings to behave like animals. Never. It's unconstitutional in every society. And I think this is when I expect African Union to step in. Operation Dudula needs to be proscribed as a terrorist group. Operation Dudula is anti-development of South Africa, targeted at black people who are living legally in South Africa, carrying out honest businesses. The argument that it's about people who don't have papers, who are illegal immigrants, it is not for any individual or citizen to implement such laws. Hand it over to the state, hand it over to the government to prosecute. Operation Dudula is a terrorist group. Sooner or later, we're going to see this. It is sad that South Africans are cheering Operation Dudula, an evil establishment that should not exist in any form. Access to healthcare is the basic human right globally. You must treat humans first before any other issues crop up. If it's a criminal matter, report to the institution, report to the law, and let the law take its course. If South Africans don't trust their security institutions, then it means they also cannot take laws into their hands. For far too long, we have watched them carry out Operation Dudula. But South Africans are also becoming ungrateful for the things other Africans did for them. For the records, for many times I spoke about it. Nelson Mandela lived in Nigeria, traveled around with Nigerian passport. Thabo Mbeki also traveled around with Nigerian passport. A lot of South Africans were moved to Nigeria. They schooled for free during the apartheid. We all donated money, spent our resources to ensure that apartheid was a thing of the past. Nigeria grounded every airline coming from South Africa in protest with black South Africans. Is this how South Africans now pay the rest of Africa? Other African nations also did the same thing for South Africa. When you ask your mother or your father in South Africa today, a lot of them schooled in Nigeria at no expense to their fathers or families or South Africa. We gave South Africans education for free. We gave South Africans aid for free. South Africans benefited healthcare for free. We didn't treat them as illegals. They didn't also come in as legal migrants or refugees. We didn't treat them as refugees. But South Africans have shown how ungrateful humans can be. And that is what we see in South Africa today. I'm not also saying that if one commits a crime, you leave them. No. If you get a criminal that is a migrant, they have to face the law. But you don't have the right to also take laws into your hands. And that is what Operation Dudula currently is doing. South Africans have become hateful to other black people. I love the way that Nigerian stood up against him, because that's what you do to cowards. You don't cower to them. You face them heads on and you treat them the way they should be treated. Operation Dudula is a terrorist group, and if not proscribed now, they will go ahead to do greater havoc to the economy of South Africa and the rest of Africa.
Right now, as I'm talking, there are Dudula people there screaming, says, "We warned you." Who did they want? This is my country. Same rights they have or she has. I have it the same way. We're not here to kill each other. We are here to raise each other. So if they're going to do this, this is not how we build. We're destroying. How many unemployed people? It's not only foreigners are being affected. There are South African people, as me standing here, I'm being affected. Many are also being affected.
Dudula Street in the city center of Johannesburg, known for its boom in second-hand clothing, has been closed down and replaced by taxi operators. Traders are now facing economic chaos and displacement as some of their halts and stands were taken down.
Considering that there is a court order restraining the government from taking this action, so I would think it's unconstitutional without consulting the traders that are here. Well, however, we do not know their motives towards this.
Many of these vendors from different parts of Africa expressed their frustration and loss of hope. Let's take a look.
We are here for many years, and they just want to throw out like that out, which is very bad. Where do you want us to stay? Where do you want us to do our business? We have kids here. We have.
Now to a disturbing new report from South Africa, where Doctors Without Borders has expressed deep concern about the consistent denial of healthcare access to non-South Africans. This includes vulnerable people like pregnant women, those living with HIV, and even children, according to MSF. For weeks now, anti-migrant groups have been stationed outside dozens of hospitals in Gauteng, turning people away who they deem to be non-South African, irrespective of their legal documentation, as we'll see in this video that has now gone viral.
If you know yourself that you're not South African, please stand up. Please stand up. Please don't try and stand up right now. Stand up. Sister, are you South African? Are you South African? Because we are going to check everybody. Check them. Come forward. Please, if you're not South African, come with me. Come. Come with me. Come. Sister, over there, right here. Come. But you guys are not South African, go out. You can go to Unjani, block P there, or Hospital. Go. Pass. Because Zimbabwe, you run fast and go to the border. If you know yourself that you're not South African, all these nurses and doctors, they are here for South Africans. Get them South Africa. Please stand up. Don't try us.
Well, this isn't the first time anti-migrant groups have blocked non-South Africans from getting access to healthcare. Back in 2022, Operation Dudula, protesters in Swane were also blocking medical access until the South African government had to step in. Well, this blatant violation of human rights has widely been condemned as an act or a xenophobic act, well, in a powerful moment of defiance. We also saw a video of a Nigerian man standing up for himself after being asked to leave a hospital.
But don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, I'm not going out. No. I'm paying tax in this country.
For which country?
This country for 21 years.
Okay.
My business registration is 20
I don't care.
to
paying taxes.
Yeah, so why are you telling me not to to be here. Why? Why are you telling me that? I'm a South African. I got my ID with me. I can't walk out. You don't talk rubbish. You're using it for what I pay.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry. What kind of stupid, wicked people are here? Killing people in the hospital. It's very bad. Call police and arrest me. If I did something wrong, bring police and arrest me.
This man was quite powerful,
Yes.
and I love the fact that he's standing up for
Very
himself.
good.
But this is a troubling trend
Very
at this point. I believe that our boys are going to South Africa, or they are in South Africa
right
now. This is not
yeah.
the first time that we are seeing this
Not
sort
the
of...
first time.
It's unbelievable.
Whether it be from the point of trying to apply for visas,
Yes.
they had a report earlier this year talking about the ordeal of Nigerians who even tried to apply for visas and how the treatment, unfair treatment and very, very disrespectful. Now we see it very critical when it comes to healthcare, where people in critical conditions are unable to access healthcare in South Africa as a result of xenophobia.
Yes.
We need to have an African response to what is happening in South Africa.
Correct.
We've talked about this for so long. Our African leaders, heroes past, did not die or fight for this kind of display of show of shame. Madiba, Nelson Mandela, did not go to prison for 27 years in fighting for the liberation of South Africa, for them to turn around and begin to, to do the same thing to their fellow African brothers. How can you deny? And it's caught on video. It's the brazen way they do it that is quite worrying. I'm hoping that, and this is where diplomatic efforts come in, that the Nigerian diplomatic side has to call the South African side and have conversations. Are we not talking to ourselves in Africa? Because it's not just Nigeria. This was just anyone who was non-South African. There should be penalties for such things. Africa should rise up against any form of xenophobia, whether it be in South Africa, whether it be ill treatment in Libya, whether it be ill treatment anywhere across the continent. If we don't keep things together amongst us as a nation, we will never advance forward or achieve the potential that Africa has.
Yeah, well said. Africa must be great. We will follow up on this story.
My name is Adekunle. I'm a Nigerian national and also a naturalized South African citizen. I think it's high time I sent a message to the ANC top cadres and the ANC leaders, because I don't seem to be able to communicate with ordinary South African citizens. I'm speaking to people like Cyril Ramaphosa, Paul Mashatile, Gwede Mantashe, and Razzmatazz himself, Fikile Mbalula. I am telling you that you need to do something about Operation Dudula. We can no longer tolerate the harassment of African nationals in South Africa, because South Africans are in other countries and they are not being harassed. I know that you are afraid as the African National Congress that if you do something about xenophobia and you say anything about it, you will lose votes because the bulk of the voters might be xenophobic. But as you are supporting Gaza and you are opposing the genocide of Gaza and Gaza citizens, you should also stand against the genocide of Black Africans in South Africa, because this is unsustainable. We have to find a common ground. There is no country without immigrants. There is no country without immigrants. Okay? If you're unable to give free health care to immigrants in South Africa, make that plain in your constitution. You can't claim to have the most liberal constitution and say there's health care for all, and on ground you have a vigilante organization that is chasing people away from medical care and causing them to die. South Africa, you are not isolated when it comes to having migrants. There are more than 30 million migrants in Nigeria. I repeat, there are more than 30 million migrants in Nigeria. And you don't see us refusing them health care. So I'm speaking to Cyril Ramaphosa, Paul Mashatile, Fikile Mbalula, and Gwede Mantashe. And I'm adding the leader of EFF to it. Please do something about Dudula. We don't want to start giving South Africans the same energy that they are giving us in South Africa. We are more than that. We are Nigerians. We don't do that. We don't do that to African brothers. Please do something about Dudula.
Others, we are more than 20 years. As I'm speaking myself, I have a BTech degree in environmental health, but I'm struggling to get to work because I don't have proper papers.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here for 14 years. You don't have paper, you can't work. How are you going to live? Now the government is having other laws that as refugees or as a foreigner, we're not going to have work. Our kids, they can struggle to be at school. We're having kids here in South Africa.
At a time when other Africans are feeling sorry for South Africa, Malawi, Lesotho, and some other African countries that Trump's tariff is hitting hard, guess what some South Africans are still deepening? Xenophobia. Operation Dudula is a private initiative that targets foreigners and businesses of foreigners, asking them to leave South Africa, ending marriages to South Africans, and doing everything they can to make sure foreigners, particularly black foreigners, don't invest in South Africa. They've targeted Nigerians, they've targeted their neighboring countries, Zimbabwe, and other African countries, but they don't touch white people. Today, they are beginning to target hospitals and asking people to leave hospital, sick people to leave hospital. How wicked can we be as black people? When people go to the hospital, are they doing that for free? If South Africans can't access healthcare, how is that a fault of foreigners? Universal access to health is a right, it's a global right, enshrined in the UN Charter. And it is sad that some individuals who put themselves together as a non-profit or pressure group whose duty it is to chase foreigners out of their country, ending their marriages even if they were legally married and carrying out businesses. I have seen reports of people who are even legally resident in communities in South Africa being chased away, their businesses being closed down and taken over by Operation Dudula. And now they go to the hospital to attack and change. While I think that this is not just only primitive, but something that shouldn't be heard of, I think the entire African continent needs to speak about this. African Union needs to discuss this level of xenophobia in South Africa and sanction South Africa as well. At the time when we're thinking of a holistic economy that encourages trade and travel between every member nation within the 54 continents of Africa, some primitive Africans still believe that the reason why they have no opportunities is because fellow Africans from other countries who are legally resident in these countries are benefiting. As long as we humans exist, migration is a part of life. It will always happen, and it is key. People come into our countries for investments. We also go out to other countries for many reasons. But some South Africans have failed to understand that their activities are alien, is anti-development, and it reminds some of us of the apartheid system. And we know how the Land Act worked, and we knew how it was difficult for even South Africans to go to the urban centers, the Durban and other areas to work because of the Native Land Use Act and the law of 1913. It is the same South Africa that Africans fought for that are doing the same thing to other Africans today. That Africans can live in your country, grow your economy, and see how best South Africa can get out of the 30% tariff that was slammed on South Africa. When you close down foreign businesses, you close down trade, you close down opportunities, you close down efforts to grow GDPs. South Africans who have no business with what they are doing, an illegal setup because it is not constitutional, is currently doing what they are doing and the government watches on. Imagine what the world would look like if every country chases out everyone who is not their own citizen. We will all become islands. Not even the United States, where Trump is fighting everyone with tariffs and all that, would do that. Africans, particularly South Africans, may need to have a rethink that these decisions by some xenophobic South Africans will haunt the economy of South Africa sooner or later. Because by the time they are done with Africans, they are going to switch over to other foreign nationals.
Welcome back to Gistline. So, a Nigerian man in South Africa has gone viral after saying he can't be denied access to healthcare center because he is Nigerian-South African. And the man said he's been living in South Africa for years. He pays his taxes and follows the law just like everyone else. So when some members of Operation Dudula tried to stop him from getting treatment, he stood his ground. He said clearly that he works and contributes to the system, so he deserves to be treated like any other person. And a lot of people are supporting him for speaking up for himself and standing for his rights. Well, the man has a good point. If someone is living in a country legally and he's paying his tax, it's only fair that he gets access to basic things like healthcare. And nobody deserves to be denied medical help just because they are foreign. At the same time, Operation Dudula also has their own reasons. Many South Africans feel frustrated because hospitals are overcrowded, jobs are few, and foreigners they seem to be getting benefits that is meant for locals. So they believe that South Africans should be taken care of first before others, and that's understandable. Every country wants to put its citizens first. But the problem is how some people go about it. You can't promote South Africans first by chasing or humiliating other Africans. Denying someone healthcare just because they are Nigerian or Zimbabwean or any other country is too harsh. And many Nigerians in South Africa are crying out. They are saying that they are being treated unfairly, even though they work hard and follow the rules. And this whole situation just shows that both sides, they have a point, but it needs balance. South Africans deserve priority, yes, but foreigners who contribute and live legally, mark the word legally, also deserve respect and fair treatment. We are all Africans at the end of the day, and there should be more unity than hate. Well, let me know what you think. Do you think that this man is wrong for reacting the way he did, or he's right? Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if today is your first time joining my channel, please kindly like, share and subscribe.
You know, guys, I'm pissed. Operation Dudula movement is harassing South African people. This started as a movement of hate against immigrants. Everybody saw it. But now, they are harassing South African people. How can you ask someone to prove they are South African by asking them to speak a native language of South Africa? Clearly, you are not trained officials. You have no authority to handle immigration. The only right any South African citizen has the right to report suspicious acts or anyone breaking the law. But Dudula movement, they are not the law. And the horrible thing is, they are targeting black people only. Because in their mind, the world doesn't care if black people fight each other. Donald Trump is not gonna have a problem. I don't expect him to. He's white and he defends his own people. Well, I'm an African. I speak for my people. If you're going to harass me, I'll exercise my right and report you for intimidation, for revoking my right to access and limiting my freedom of movement. You know, those times are over in South Africa where South African has to carry IDs and don't pass over. I don't want to see that repeated, especially by my own people. You know, this constitution black people are trying to protect, it's written by white people. How can a constitution that limit access to immigrants be in our constitution? Because South African people have heritage all across the borders. I'm saying this because Nelson Mandela himself was arrested trying to flee South Africa illegally based on that constitution to ask help on outside countries as an immigrant. So why would somebody like Nelson Mandela be voting a constitution like that? I understand people today, they're trying to protect it, but white people, they were doing it to protect their own investment. So what are you protecting? What investment a black person has here? Africans have suffered enough. We have more pressing issues. Apartheid is not over yet. We haven't reached the promised land yet. So let's focus on how are we going to get the land.